Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey. And as we approach the holiday weekend, many of us are considering family outings, and what better way to spend time together than at the movies? This morning, we'll review a few films currently in theaters and figure out whether they align with our faith values or not. And to discuss it all today, with us is a returning guest, Katie Ruvi. She's the co-host of Is This for Kids, an entertaining, humor-filled podcast helping you make informed decisions for your kids' media diet, and also host of the Frontiers of Faith for the Pontifical Mission Societies. Good morning and welcome back to the show, Katie.
Hi, Keith. Thanks for inviting me. It's so exciting to see you. I like your new background.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
I'm
for
still
those
in a
that
closet.
are yes, no, I appreciate it. For those that are listening on the radio, yes, I have a newish setup in the background, but that's another recommendation to check us out on YouTube or any of our socials so you can actually watch our beautiful faces. Now, Katie, my favorite part about this is that you've already seen the films that we're going to be talking with, so we may not have to see some of these, but perhaps there is a diamond in the rough here.
Yeah, there's a couple of surprise movies out right now that my co-host John and I on Is This for Kids saw them, and we were like, "Well, hey, we didn't see that coming." So,
yes. So August was kind of like the last hurrah, I think, for kind of the blockbuster season. So I guess the first one we should probably get out of the way because it's gotten a lot of attention in the media and also social media. Deadpool versus Wolverine. So for those out there not sure what that is, basically it's a mashup of two iconic Marvel superheroes, Deadpool and Wolverine. They team up to save their universe. I think it's the highest grossing rated R film. I might be correct.
Yeah, it had at least it had the highest grossing opening weekend of any rated R film. I'm not sure where it's at now. It's been out for a few weeks now, but as of last check, it was doing extremely well in the box office. And when John and I went to see it, saw a stunning number of children in the audience, given the fact that it was a rated R movie. I don't know. How much do you know about Deadpool?
Well, I know he breaks the fourth wall a lot, so to speak, where he talks to the audience or he makes jokes that the world of the movie isn't familiar with, but knows, like, okay, he's talking to us as the people that are watching. It's interesting you point out seeing so many. I've heard a lot on social media that people are bringing their children, like their small child, to this movie. So I guess without going into too much detail on some of the irreverence and keeping it G-rated, what are your thoughts on the movie itself?
Well, the movie itself gives you kind of a sneak peek into where Marvel is going with its, I don't even know what wave we're on, fifth wave of Marvel content. So for that purpose, it is slightly interesting to see where it's going. You see a lot of characters that you had never seen before, like some of the X-Men or basically properties that have been owned by Fox before Fox merged with Disney, and now they own those things. But Deadpool is known as the Merc with a mouth, which means he's a mercenary, a person who kills people for money with a potty mouth on him. He's particularly he's witty in his potty mouth-ish, that's a word, sometimes, but it's definitely inappropriate in ways that, like, even me as a nearly 40-year-old woman was like, oh my goodness, I have never heard that euphemism before. That's rough. So for parents who are considering this one as something you might want to take your kids to, we did a whole episode on it over on our YouTube channel if you want to go check it out. But I think that there are other ways to introduce your kids to the X-Men and to the Fox-owned properties that are going to be now in the Marvel universe than to go see this one. There's just a lot going on there that I don't think you're going to find appropriate.
Yeah, I think I saw the first one and I was even like, I'm not a prude by any means, but my goodness, I was taken aback. And so, yeah, I think there might be some alternatives out there. Would you recommend any alternatives that might have the same feel, but maybe not the same irreverence?
You know what? I really like, if you like Ryan Reynolds and his style of humor and that breaking the fourth wall kind of thing, we really like Free Guy as an alternative. It's an older movie, but it doesn't have throughout the entirety of Deadpool versus Wolverine, there is an overarching, very blasphemous theme that's going on. And that's not present in Free Guy. It's a lot more kid friendly. It's a little bit sillier, but parents will still enjoy it. And it's still that like dry, funny, fourth wall breaking humor that you love from Ryan Reynolds, but without any of the just incredibly crass comments that eventually stop being funny because you're like, okay, you can only say so many euphemisms.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, okay. So a good rental then, Free Guy, as opposed to Deadpool and Wolverine. So, okay. The next movie, Despicable Me 4. So this is a continuation of this franchise of Gru and his minions returning for more animated chaos. Is this, what did you think of this film? Is it something that parents can just turn off their brain and then just it's for their kids, or is it something that parents can enjoy as well?
Yeah, we call Despicable Me 4 a safe movie, meaning it's the kind of thing that parents can turn on and walk away and not worry that their kid is going to come back to them saying something bizarre or having some strange belief about how the world works or anything like that. But it's also not the kind of movie that has any true good or beautiful concepts in it. It's safe in that it's candy floss. Like this is cotton candy. It's not good for you by any means, but it's also not going to kill you. So, you know, pick your poison, I suppose. It's totally safe. It's fun for kids. It did have a little feel of like they just really wanted to make another movie, so they threw it all together. It was like three different plots actually, just like sort of piled on top of each other. It was a little bit odd, but it's perfectly safe. It's perfectly okay for kids of any age. There's nothing, no like hidden language. Sometimes people worry that the minions are saying something. That's not there. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. So yeah, that sounds a little bit tamer than say Deadpool versus Wolverine. But our last film here that we're going to talk about, Twisters. It's the sequel to the mid-90s film Twister. Basically a disaster movie centered around tornadoes, I guess you would summarize. But
yeah,
I've heard a lot of positive feedback on this one. What were your initial thoughts?
We loved Twisters. We thought it was a fantastic movie. Like if you think back to the movies that you saw when you were a kid, for me, it was Independence Day. I went and saw that with my parents on a holiday weekend. And like there was a little bit of swearing, but honestly, not very much even in Twisters. I think there's just like 2 or 3 swear words in there. But for the most part, it's tame, it's safe, it's very affirming to the human person. There's a clean bad guy, which is a tornado, so you don't even have to root against a human being, but you get this great redemption arc. You get this heroicism, this telling children that they can overcome their fear. It's great storytelling. There is no need for, they don't make any like overt sexual jokes like they did in the original Twisters. There was a little bit of euphemism in there. There's none of that. There's a little bit of like a love interest, but they don't even kiss at the end. Like it's super, super tame on that front, but very cool in the encouraging your kid to be brave and overcome themselves. And my favorite thing that I think might be sort of little, but we always talk in media about representation. And I was absolutely adored the fact that in this movie, we have 2 very blue collar, very Southern people with a Southern accent who are depicted as intelligent, which is almost never the case. Like it's just sort of a trope that British accent means smart, Southern accent means dumb. And here we have blue collar, working class, smart people.
That's so cool. Yeah. And I think you could probably even like through our Catholic lens, like probably go through the fact, like, how can we find hope and trust in God, even in the face of natural disasters? And that might display in it, in that film. I don't know. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the main characters, you find out pretty quickly, like he seems like sort of a hot dog or YouTube kind of guy. But it turns out he's just has this incredible heart for charity and for the poor and reaching out to people and helping them in their hour of need. It's incredible.
Yeah. I feel like, though, they might have pinned themselves against a corner if they intend to make a sequel to Twisters. Because what are they going to name it? Twisters?
Well, I think they're trying to follow like Alien and then Aliens. What was the third Alien called? Was it just Alien 3? I don't know.
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe Twister Space. Like maybe they're going to take the action in outer space, because eventually you have to do that in these franchises. You have to take it into outer space.
Yeah, that's like, remember Armageddon? They had to oil rig drill on a meteor or something.
Yeah, that's so true. Is there any movies that you're looking forward to coming up soon that's going to be released?
Yes, I am very, very excited for a new movie coming out October 4th, right in that spooky season. I was given an advance copy of a brand new movie called Monster Summer, which is starring Mel Gibson. And it's this incredibly cool movie that's very Goonies-esque in its feel, like this kids getting into a mystery, kids solving things and having a cool summer fun situation. But it's a little bit spooky without any of the demonic or scary things that you might see. And our Catholic viewers might notice just a few things in there, like one of the good guys has a rosary hanging from his rearview mirror and a statue of the Blessed Virgin in his yard. And typically when you're in movies like this, you see sort of negative, like the bad guy has those things. And it's really cool to see the good guy represented as that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're bringing that to light because, always the bad guys are like the religious folk, like it's a priest or a nun. You're like, okay, really? Again?
Especially at Halloween time, they love to make scary nuns. So I was like, have you met a nun? Least scary people in the world.
Experience. Yeah, this has never been my experience with sisters or religious sisters. Like, why? They're trying to take something that's beautiful and holy and then kind of twist it as Hollywood does. Yep.
But you know what? There's beautiful things happening out there in Hollywood, and I want Catholics, I want everybody to get out there and enjoy the things that we can that are being made in the culture and find the good, look for the good. So I think you guys are going to love Monster Summer.
Monster Summer coming out October 4th or 3rd? Sorry. 4th. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that. But my goodness, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Katie. We can find more information and more reviews on television and films, and so much more to make sure that this is something our kids can watch. isthisforkids.com. Thank you so much again for joining us, Katie. And that is it for Morning Joy. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Let's keep spreading that truth and joy together. God bless, and make it a joyful day.